This is an overview of the key features of the Online Mentor Teacher Standards platform. It's a web-based platform, which makes it very flexible. As long as you have a PC and an internet connection, you can be getting on with the job of capturing and managing your evidence of progression and coverage against the Teacher Standards framework. And by way of context, this tool was originally developed for the legal sector, where trainee solicitors and newly qualifieds must meet prescribed regulatory standards, and we are the market leader amongst the top 100 law firms. And the Teacher Standards platform is a dedicated version of this software for teachers and schools based upon a proven legal sector product. And the product focuses around a very simple idea, which is to give each user their own portfolio, but in a way which enables them to update it in a very flexible way and on an ongoing basis as time permits, in bite-sized chunks, rather than a great big push, once or twice a year, perhaps towards the end of the academic year. And it allows the user to capture, in a summary form, what evidence they think they have which may be relevant to the Teacher Standards framework. And it could be the obvious candidates, things like lesson observations, feedback, and so forth. But one of the key features of the system is that when a teacher is doing this, they are then able to review and select which elements of the Teacher Standards framework they think relates to it. And the beauty of the system is that if, as is often the case, several elements within the Teacher Standards framework are relevant, then they can tick all of those relevant elements. And each time that they do so, the system, the database, will remember that activity and will give them some numbers the next time they log on. So, for example, here, this particular teacher so far has 3 entries within their portfolio which has ticked one or more of the plan and teach well-structured lessons competencies. And this is very important because over time, this provides live feedback for teachers to be able to take responsibility for their development, to self-manage and identify potential patterns and gaps in their coverage, which can be invaluable when it comes to getting their ducks in a row, coming up to appraisals and performance review meetings. And as well as making that link in a much more dynamic way between the experience being captured and the component parts of the framework, you can of course also upload the relevant evidence. And it could be that you're uploading the actual file, or it could be that you're putting a hyperlink perhaps to a recorded lesson, or it could simply be a description of the file and its location on the network. But the point is, everything can be packaged within each particular entry within that teacher's portfolio. And each time they do that, that entry that they've created will then be housed within their own individual portfolio, which can be searched in the usual way. But it can also be searched in slightly different ways, more forensic ways which are more standards and outcomes focused. So for example, a teacher could say, show me what I have in relation to 4.4, reflecting systematically on the effectiveness of lessons and approaches to teaching. And the database will go and find those entries which have ticked that particular box. The teacher can also run a progression report which opens up all of the teacher standards and presents the data in their portfolio in a completely different way. So for example here we have a portfolio where there are 6 entries in total, and the teacher can comment on how they think they are progressing globally, holistically, in relation to the teacher standards. They can peg their progression on a traffic light red, amber, green scale in terms of how well they're doing. Reviewers, their managers, can in turn log in and via their interface make comments in relation to that progression. Managers, head teachers, senior management, leadership team can have their own login where the teachers that they are responsible for are all available to be reviewed online. So a teacher can be selected and their evidence can be reviewed holistically, but also it can be reviewed via the manager's version of the progression report, which then allows them to put in their comments And this can be either done purely online, or both the teacher and or the manager can print these reports, which then print out into a nice looking report which can form the basis for a performance review and form the basis for discussions at a formal appraisal. There is also an area of the website where specific follow-up or development points or key objectives can be logged and captured so that they can be tracked. And likewise, there is an area of the website where appraisals, other meetings, development plans, etc. Can be uploaded and stored in a central location. And it's not just teachers, it can also be head teachers, senior management. So for example, the system supports evidence entry against the head teacher standards. If a particular school has its own set of competencies, those can be integrated into the system as well. So in summary, Online Mentor Teacher Standards is easy to use, flexible, can be used in school or at home. It allows teachers to build up their evidence in flexible chunks. It links the evidence to the standards in a much more dynamic way. It guides teachers on the areas they might need to look at or might need to find evidence for. And it supports transparent and robust appraisals. Crucially, it's affordable but a fully supported plugin to a school's existing appraisal systems. And equally as important, it's secure. The data is safe. We're on an encrypted SSL connection, the system has been penetration tested, the data is hosted at European data centres, and in essence, it provides a fantastically cost-effective and flexible solution for the challenges which will arise in relation to teacher appraisals in due course.